Welcome, everybody, back to the Successful CEO podcast. And we have our very first guest, which is very exciting. I'm very excited. Okay, so this is Ashley Bennington. So I'll do a little intro. She's the founder and CEO of Buy the Blazer and her seven-figure story. She's building the next wave of industry disruptors, innovators, and million-dollar entrepreneurs. Like, how incredible is that bio? I was like, ooh, and I checked in the bio and I'm like,
I love it.
so
I
good.
love that you use that. I love that you use that. It's on my Buy the Blazer Instagram. I'm like, it's not very specific. I know your Instagram bio is supposed to be specific, but every time I read it, I'm like, that's my mission. We're sticking to it.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so Ashley and I met. We're in a mastermind together, although I believe not anymore. This is the end of our time together in the mastermind, but it's not our end of our time together at all.
No.
So yeah, that's how we met, was in a mastermind this year, just recently. And yeah, I was like, I need to have Ashley on because you are just killing it in the online world, especially with TikTok. So we are definitely going to dive into TikTok. And also we're going to break down your let's not dismiss over your 100K month that you just had. Like, we need to know
Yeah.
the breakdown. I mean, it's years in the making, but we got to hear some secrets. Okay, so if you want to introduce yourself, just a little bit about you, what your business does, and what is your main focus? I know you have your personal Instagram, you have Buy the Blazer, and then what's happening with the seven-figure story in case people come into, your world and they want to scope it out.
Yeah, all the things. It's so crazy because I was just talking to one of my clients. She does social media management. I was like, I'm probably gonna need to hire you this year because I was like, right now I run 3 TikToks, 3 Instagrams, 3 websites. So I'm kind of, just in 3 different places all at once. So I started my first business. So Seven Figure Story was technically my first business. Obviously, like every entrepreneur, our first real business isn't ever our first business. We kind of dabble in a bunch of things and lead there. But I started her Seven Figure Story on my 29th birthday. I was having a little bit of like a quarter life crisis. I really wanted to become an entrepreneur. I had left a really high paying, really great sales job to go to another company to kind of give myself a little bit of time. I was working over 100 hours a week there, and I needed to basically regroup to figure out how I could start a business because I wanted to work for myself. And I was talking to a lot of my friends about money, and I was just like overly stressed with how little they knew about money. And I was kind of always the go-to person for my friends about investing, 401ks. I remember when all my friends got their first, job, they're like, what the heck is a 401k? I taught all my friends about money. I taught all my friends about career. And I was like, maybe I can document a journey of like becoming a millionaire, do something really crazy online. Cause like, I really need to build a personal brand. And like, maybe I'll just start with that. And that's how our Seven Figure Story started, is I started documenting like every day what I was doing to build my net worth, which was kind of funny because like you don't really do that. It's just whatever. But I was doing that, I was trying to figure it out. But then I just started talking about my own journey and how much money that I was able to, really build into my own portfolio over the last couple of years. I was talking about my own personal journey, and all of a sudden women are like, help me. And so that's how it became a business, as I started kind of a coaching, financial education / coaching business. That business grew like extremely well. We did almost $300,000 in 11 months while I was working a full-time job, which was insane. But while I had launched that business, I really wanted to eventually do like business consulting. And I realized that I could do it in the online space because there was like a huge need. And that's when Buy the Blazer came around. So I started that business. I didn't really do anything with it. It was just kind of like in the sidelines. I didn't have time. Then I quit my full-time job in August. And then I created an entire product suite and kind of service suite for Buy the Blazer in November. And really exciting. We grew that business to 100K in 4 months, over 200K in about 6 months. So we are just growing. Both are growing really, really quickly, and it's been awesome. So very different businesses. One's very focused on financial education. One's really focused on business, scaling businesses. But I have clients in both, and it's been amazing to see women just come in, not confident about money, and then learn about money, and then say, I actually want to start working for myself, and I want to grow my net worth, and I want multiple streams of income, and I want to be a business owner. And like, I've had women come into my world in so many different ways, and that's just been such a blessing. So it's kind of been a roller coaster ride. Your first year and a half of business is kind of just figuring it out as you go. So I'm kind of still in that crazy grind, but it's been really fun, and I'm really excited about where the heck we're going.
Thank you for sharing. That's crazy. That's an incredible story. I just want to point out a few things that really stood out. So you had this idea, almost like you had this intuitive hit, this like, I don't know, this yearning to do something bigger. And you're like, let's just play with this. Like, what if this was my $1 million year? Let's like do this. And it was just like not the overthinking, and you just moved. So you got this hit, you moved. And then the other thing that stood out from your story was telling your story. You literally just showed up and you were sharing your own personal journey, your own story. And then the people came, they're like, oh my God, show me how to do this. So, I mean, it's not like you knew how it would happen. It was just, you were showing up, sharing your journey, sharing your story, sharing your wisdom. And then they came, and then the people came. So loved it. Loved hearing that. A couple of questions, actually. This isn't even planned. Like this, we did this interview, like it's just gonna like whatever comes through my mind. I do have like a structure here, but I'm like, okay, I gotta ask this. I gotta ask this. Okay, so a couple things, because I know people are gonna wonder as they're listening. They're gonna say, because I get this all the time. I run 2 businesses. I have 3 kids. Like I used to teach full time while growing 2 businesses. So the number one question people would ask is like, how the hell are you doing it all? So you say you run 3 TikTok accounts and you have your 3 businesses. So if you can just point out like a few things that really stick out on how you're able to hold and handle all of it.
Well, the very funny but very obvious ones that actually do help. I don't have kids, and I couldn't tell you the last time I went on a date. That definitely does not distract me. The mamas, you guys are saints. Like you guys, I swear, like every mom that I ever meet with, they're like, once you're a mom, you operate at a new level. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll experience that one day. But for me personally, I think I just really wanted it so bad that I was willing to sacrifice for the short term, for the long-term gain. And so when I was at a full-time job, very transparently, I got this comment one time on social media. Someone's like, it's so annoying how much you work. You make entrepreneurship look unobtainable. And I said, it's not unobtainable. I said, but doing $500,000 in 14 months when you were working a full-time job, 9 months of it all by yourself without a team. I said, that's pretty insane. I said, but starting a business or growing that is not unobtainable. Just the way I chose to do it was a little bit crazy, but I also chose to do that for myself. That's what I wanted. So when I was at my full-time job, again, if I was back in my sales job, I could have never done this, but I went to a job where I could work a little bit more of a 9 to 5. It was a little less crazy. And I did sales calls for every single client I had. We had 500 clients last year. So I had well over 500 sales calls, which was nuts. So a lot on my calendar, but I basically woke up, I kind of planned around my day. I had calls for my full-time job. And then I started taking like client calls or sales calls or whatever it was, like 4 o'clock, which my boss now knows. It's so funny we like talk about it now. She's like, you know what? I would have done it too. But I did that and I worked every weekend, and I would maybe outside of like 2 days, all of last year, I was working, I was grinding. And so I was taking sales calls on the weekends. I would do client work on the weekend. I built my websites on the weekend. Like I just really worked a lot. But I also too, I got excited about all the progress I was making, and it got me excited about keeping going. I definitely took some naps. I definitely had some days where I was like, should I be doing this? But I wanted it so bad. And my biggest thing was just looking at my week and saying, like, where can I plug in an hour work here, an hour work here, and just maximize my time as much as possible. But also I will say, like, being smart about the platforms I use, like TikTok, like that did a lot of the work for me. If I could hop on a call, I knew that I could serve that client and I could sell that client into a program. So I was like, as long as I'm posting and I'm bringing in content that will drive people to want to take action, if I get them on a call, like there's $500, there's $1,000, whatever it is. And so I just really focused on like the simple things. I focused on attraction and conversion and delivery. It was like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. Here we go. You're going to come into my world. I'm going to bring you onto a sales call. I'm going to plug you into a program. And then I have it set in place to just execute. Like I kept everything really, really simple, because I think a lot of people try to do everything in 1 year. And I really focused on like the foundations. And then once I had the time after the full-time job, that's when the layers came into place. That's really when my business elevated into that next level. But when you're starting off, you got to just keep things really easy, simple. One program, one ideal client. TikTok was my main strategy, and I just executed every single day. And that it worked. Yeah.
I love how you tapped in on the working really hard, the grind, the hustle, for the short term, for the long-term gains. I actually I don't know if you've read this book, but it's called, I'm looking over because it's right beside me, but it's called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And it's by T.
No.
Harv Eker. So Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So in this book, and I have it, it's like literally just always beside me. So in my living room, in my office, and it kind of goes all over around the house. And I always just pick it up and read random parts every day. And so one part he does talk about is the, willingness to work hard for the thing that you want. But the millionaires, the rich people, they understand that, to become rich, you want your business to work for you and not you to be working hard for your business. But at the beginning, it is about working extremely hard. They get it. They get that this is the short-term thing. They're willing to sacrifice. They're willing to grind at the beginning to build, right? Now you're building your foundations. Now you're getting the momentum going. And then eventually it's going to be, and it's starting already for you, where your business is going to be working for you because you have the residual income coming in, and now you have your recurring, building up. So now you have all your systems and stuff in place as well. So you got to read the book.
1000%. What it is. You have to be able to do that. I'm not saying that all business is hard. There are a lot of times I'm like, this is the easiest. It's the hardest and easiest thing I've ever done. I used to literally cold call, and I'd have to like knock on CEOs' doors and be like, F off, get out of my office. And like, that was hard. And I also hated it. My job is hard, but I really like it. And I do think even if you love your job, you're still working. Like, I definitely work, but most days I'm like, this is the easiest thing I've ever done in comparison. And I also enjoy it, and it also makes me more money. And I'm like, I think that's about, like, sometimes I'm like, you have to just be so excited about that. I just know that it's going to continue to, build on that.
Yeah. So this is the thing people see, and especially in the TikTok world, I believe it's a different platform and attraction over there versus like Instagram. But at least that's my opinion. And I mean, I think people see it. They see the shiny, what do you say? Like the shiny lights. I don't know.
Shiny object syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, you can share your tips, your techniques, all the things people can, but it's like the passion has to be there. You're like, I love what I do, so in order to, attract that or to build that or to see, the thing for you is I don't even think it's that hard for you to put the time in because you're obsessed. This is why I try to talk to people obsessed with the mission, obsessed with the vision. That is actually like, if I still, so my kids are a little bit older now, like they're 5, 7, and 10. I'm like trying to remember all the ages. And so they're a little bit more independent now. So, I mean, for me to pick up my phone and quickly do a story while they're swimming in the pool and my feet are in there, and then have some, value there, like some marketing there, strategy there, I want to do it. It's easy to me. And like, as they're older, I can like be still marketing and putting out my messaging and all of that. But like, I just want to, like, there's not a day that goes by where I'm not like obsessed with the mission or obsessed with, my brand and marketing. It's like, it lights me up. I love it. And I feel like that for you. I don't think, even though you work really hard time-wise, planning with your marketing, but I think when you're in your zone and you're doing it, it's just like, you love it so much.
That's why I always tell people when they're like, maybe I'll try this business. And they go into these, and it's not like you can't be successful, but affiliate marketing or dropshipping or whatever it is, they chase it for the money. And I'm like, if you feel that dead energy, like I've done that. I worked in a sales job that I hated for 3 years, and I was literally miserable, and I was making money, and I was like, I don't even care. Like, this is not even fun. And when you chase the things that don't actually bring you joy, there is a way to monetize your brilliance. I literally believe there is like $1 million, like something in all of us. Like, there is something that we have, our story, our a lesson that we've had, or an experience that we've had that we can monetize. You don't have to monetize everything, but if you wanted to, you can build a business around something that you're already amazing at, that you actually enjoy, as opposed to just chasing some one size fits all type business model and trying to take that and become the 1% that's successful in it. I also think that only so many people ever hit multiple 6 or 7 figures in a business, and I get that too. But it's a lot fun to grind your way to that than grind your way towards unfulfillment, but just money in your pocket. Like, I think a lot of people chase that. I think that's the problem with TikTok, is it's just this like, I'm gonna post this rinse and repeat thing and hope that I make a lot of money, and people feel unfulfilled, and then people aren't willing to put in the work because it's not something they enjoy. And I do actually think you can build a business in something that you're really good at and you really enjoy.
Yeah,
That's my core.
I love that. Okay, so you just talked a little bit about TikTok and then the people over there. I need to bring this up because I've experienced this as well, and it just drives me crazy. But yeah, it's so funny to see. So this happened to you recently. This happened to me not that long ago, where someone commented on TikTok and was like, okay, yeah, you're really having X amount dollars when you're spending all your time on TikTok. I had someone do that to me recently where they're like, yeah, you're, you know, whatever amount in 2 years, business owner, but yet you're on TikTok. And I was like, oh my goodness, they don't get it. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly why I've made this amount, because I am on, so I'm not on TikTok as much as you are, like, but Instagram, I've been building it for years. I mean, so yeah, can you speak to that for a minute and then we'll jump into.
Oh my gosh. So I love TikTok. 99% of my business last year came from TikTok. So definitely a platform that I use very well. And even if they don't buy directly from TikTok, obviously they come over from TikTok to Instagram. But TikTok is right now where most people spend their time. So it's like, you know, years ago, the only entertainment platform we had is TV. What the hell did companies do? They did TV ads.
Yeah.
TikTok is kind of like your little mini TV ad. And what's crazy is the way that people buy, they want to feel connected to you. And with TikTok and video, they can see you in your day-to-day, they can see your mannerisms. It's a more dynamic version of what Instagram used to be for businesses. And even if you didn't want to sell your services on TikTok, you should be on TikTok just alone for your personal brand. People want to know the visionary behind the vision. They want to know the Gary V's, right? Like Gary V's companies would not be what they are without Gary V. Like he's on TikTok. Does anyone question him about like, oh, he's selling on TikTok? No, he's promoting himself. He's promoting his business, his personal brand. And even if I'm not where he's at right now, hopefully one day that'd be amazing. Like everyone should be on TikTok promoting who they are and building a personal brand around that, because that's something that is becoming almost more valuable than money in your pocket, is how much value add your personal brand is to the world. And if you know anything about business, that's something you should be focusing on. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I get so many comments. I've gotten attacked about my weight. I've gotten attacked about my looks, about how much money I have, you know, oh, did you get it from this place or that, or daddy's, whatever. And I'm like, at the end of the day, like wasting my time on that is like just a waste of my time, because I could be focusing on people that actually could benefit from what I'm doing or saying, or I could learn more about myself, or I could even just freaking take a nap more than deal with like the dumb comments that make no sense. But I think TikTok is an incredible platform, regardless if it's here in a year or whatever. The way that people interact with users and businesses on TikTok is changing the way that people are selling online now. And it's an incredible platform that people need to know. And people that say you're stupid for being on it because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't have money. Well, why does every celebrity who's worth $30 million have a TikTok then? They're building their personal brand, they're connecting to their audience, they're staying relevant. And those things are just as important as how many sales your business brings in every month. And so it's just a different way of thinking, but those types of individuals, like they don't obviously run a business, and sometimes business brain and non-business brain, they're a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. I think they see that like if you actually were growing a business to that amount, then you're at your computer and your head's down, you know, I don't know what, writing notes or something, which
right?
like
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And
there's a reason Kylie Jenner, though, like every time she has a product release, what is she doing? She's promoting it on TikTok. Hailey Bieber, she's promoting her skin. By the way, it's beautiful. Like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I need her skincare. But like she promotes her business on TikTok. Those are multi-billionaires on TikTok promoting their products and services. But I think this new wave of online space that like confuses people, like there's like the scammy businesses and like legit businesses, and they're really just all on a spectrum. But yeah, people are crazy. I'll just put it out there.
Well, and the other thing too that I don't think a lot understand is, I know for myself, when I go to do a TikTok, it takes me 2 minutes. It's like they think because they see consistent videos that it means you're on there all day, and you're still with your clients. You're, you know, doing other things behind the scenes besides the videos, and the videos actually don't even take that long. They just see the, you know, continual showing up means you're on it all day, every single day.
Right.
Okay, so can you tell a few, since we've been on the topic of TikTok, and I call you the TikTok queen. You said 90%, I believe, of your sales came from TikTok last year. So can you just give maybe 3 would be good. Some 3 pieces of advice on being successful on TikTok.
Yeah. So one of the things that I have been talking about a lot about been sharing a lot with my clients, with recently is just the fact that TikTok, just like any marketing platform, you have to test it. And I think a lot of people feel like there's like, oh, these like 2 or 3, like do it every time, you're always gonna go viral or this, whatever. Your mannerisms, your energy, all those things contribute to the way someone connects to your video. So seriously test, like, especially even if you've already, built a huge audience, I still test my market. Go on there and try different things and be okay with trying it, and also be okay with the fact that sometimes your video will flop. I have 100, I think 82,000 followers right now. And there are days where I post a video and it gets like 800 views. And I'm like, all right, that wasn't a good one. But then I repost it and I just change something, or I like use a different hook, or I try something different and it blows up. So be okay with the fact that regardless if you're brand new or you are very, very good at the app, that sometimes you have to kind of find your rhythm on TikTok, and practice makes perfect. That's kind of like 85 tips into one, but test the app. Like any marketing strategy, it changes, who you're targeting changes, your brand changes, times change. Test different strategies, try different stuff, test it. I think the next thing that I would say is don't think that just posting more equals more success. I definitely think like the more at bats you have can equal more success. But I do think that like going and spending like quality time to say, I'm going to really post some videos about specific things and just really honing in on being consistent versus like just trying to like go crazy one day and then forget for a week, is going to help you. Not only it's going to keep you, I think, in a mental good headspace with TikTok, because I think TikTok can be a lot, but also too, it's going to just help you stay consistent and find a rhythm with posting. And it is not weird for me now to every day at like noon, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to give myself 40 minutes to post a couple TikToks, respond to a couple videos, respond to a couple things. And then I get off the app. It keeps me very focused on my mission of staying consistent, but it also keeps me from like going nuts or scrolling or being, all over the place, because it can. And then I think the last thing with TikTok is I am not an SEO expert by any means, but use the text and build your TikToks within the app. So TikTok, like any platform, wants you to be using their app. So build your content in the app. Use their text, use the things that they have, and think about the way that you are using text through the lens of your consumer. If I talked about a long-term and short-term investing strategy, most people are like, I don't know what the heck that is. But if I'm like, this is how you open a 401k, that's exactly what my audience is Googling, right? For financial education, they're Googling, how do I open a 401k? What do I invest in? So think about the things that your audience is typing, because more people are using TikTok for Google than Google right now. Like people are using TikTok to search. So think about what your audience is searching or looking up, or through the lens of like what their brain is processing. Use that for text, and it will really help push out your content, and it will give you more visibility because it's literally aligning directly with what your audience is asking for. So those are some of the main things that I will say. Text is really important, the way that you utilize the app and stay consistent on the app, and then just also being okay with testing. I think those are decent tips, right? Couple good tips.
Those are so good. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is like really, this is going back to like really knowing your audience, because you're saying like, pretend you're them and you're Googling, what are they asking? So when you're doing your marketing, that's like the number one thing is you got to know your clients. You have to know the questions they're asking or where they want to go, and then creating that piece of content that speaks directly to that. Okay. So the last thing before we wrap it up, we must dive in. We must dive in, because again, I know so many people, I just like love watching your TikTok. I have your back, by the way. Do you not notice? I'm like coming in there. I'm like,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the 100K months, that is mind blowing, and a lot of people just don't believe that this is possible. And yeah, you had yours. So if you want, in a nutshell, kind of, and I know, like I said at the beginning, this is years in the making. You can't just say, boom, it just happened. But if you want to give a few little tidbits, insights on like why not the month before and what made it happen last month.
Yeah, so 100K month. It was between both businesses. I want to make sure that that's very clear, but I'm still very proud of it. I'm still super excited. At this point, I'm a one woman show, and Buy the Blazer, my first program launched in November. So the fact that like March, it's like, okay, to have 100K month just a couple months later is insane. What, 4 months later?
You know what I always say though, because I have 2 businesses too, right? And so when I'm going through this, where I'm like, no, I own all my success. It's not because it happened over here, because it happened over here. It's like match. So now my mindset is like, no, this just means I'm instead of being like, what's the word? Basically like discrediting, or like,
Discredit,
we're
yes.
treating money, think of it as like energetics or like a partner. It's like, oh, you're not good over here, but money, you're good when you come from here.
Right.
It's like an energy source. So it's like,
100%.
you're a match to 100K now. No matter. Okay, keep
Well,
going.
the reason that I wanted to say it was because actually the strategy for both businesses was different. So the way that this kind of combined was kind of interesting. So by the Blazer, I think honestly, the big thing that I've really been focusing on is like how I've been working with a lot of business owners trying to scale to like that first like 10, 15K. And I think one of the things I did a really good job of in like February leading up to March was I really like spent some time thinking about the emotions and things that I was struggling with. I really got in the head of myself at that point in my business. And I thought about the type of person I want to work with. And I was like, what helps them understand the gap of where they're at versus where I can help them go in 6 months? And I got really focused and I focused on that specific person all month. Like I focused heavily. And so with By the Blazer, bigger contracts, getting to that number is a little bit easier than her 7-figure story where my offer is $500. So I'll talk about that in a second. And it was split between both businesses. It was like 55K for By the Blazer and 60K for 7-figure story. So it was like very much split evenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so By the Blazer, it was very much like I went hard on one person. I went hard on that individual. I got really, really clear on who I was talking to in TikTok. I used really aggressive language. I got really sassy. People really have said that they like either hate me or like me. So I was like, I'm gonna have the people that love me ready to buy.
I love it.
They're very, very focused on that. And then her 7-figure story, actually, well, that business a lot more like year in the making. But I tried something different, always test your marketing. Every time I go viral on TikTok or I get a lot of traction on a video, most of the time I use the video to keep building traction. So what I'll do is I respond to comments from the video and respond to that. And then people are watching the video, they're clicking on comments and they go crazy. And I always have huge sales months when I go viral, not because of the original video, but because of the collaboration I have on all these comments. Well, last month I was like, I do not have the energy to do this. I'm just going to go live. Well, I went live.
I remember this.
Yes, you remember. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so I went live and I started talking as an extension of kind of what I would be doing in those videos if I was responding to comments, because I know exactly what type of comments I would be getting. And I started responding to kind of the comments, and all of a sudden people were like, so how do I work with you? How do I work with you? And we had just changed to a model where we basically have like you work with me for 12 weeks and then you move over into like a membership. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. And it's $500, which for 12 weeks of support, is like a no-brainer. But this one girl, like I was looking and I was like, no one was buying. And I was like, this is so strange. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do this one-time discount? I had like 100 people watching me. I was like, I'll get like 4 or 5 sales and I can get some new clients in. It'll be exciting, kind of revive the business. It'll be amazing. And 4 hours later, we had done $30,000 of cash into my business. Literally from just talking on TikTok. I mean, I was on TikTok literally for 2.5 hours straight. It was nuts. But I was talking and I was talking about my story and my journey, and people were like, I want in. And it just, that conversion process that I'm already pretty good at just became really, really short, really, really easy. And we still had trickle events from that. And it was just crazy. And then obviously, just continuation of what I typically do. But that kind of influx came from just testing out something different and really using TikTok as a way to connect to my audience differently than I had in the past. And so I've been doing a lot more lives. I've been doing a lot more like live events, live trainings, and I'm just really testing that because I realized that my audience needs more of that. And yeah, that was really it. So I think just getting really clear on like what my audience needs in order to pull that trigger. A lot of people know how to attract an audience, but not convert an audience. And I think one of my gifts is conversion. And I just like leaned into that like crazy that month, and it obviously paid off exponentially. So I'm excited to continue to test that out. I've been teaching my clients a lot about what I'm doing, and yeah, it felt like the most effortless month ever. And I know that we're gonna have a lot more of those. So I'm excited.
For sure. I love how you were in the live and you're like, hey, what's happening here? And then you just like impromptu dropped the sale, the incentive, and it worked. So this is the experimentation part that you were talking about, and I love it. Okay, so can you tell the audience, my audience, where they can find you, what's going on right now, if anyone wants to work with you, check you out, all the things?
Yes. Yeah, so both businesses, we have capacity to take on new clients. We are growing quickly. I would love to work with you guys in any capacity you need, or if you just have a question, just send me a message on Instagram. But my personal Instagram basically links to everything. It's just Ashley N. Bennington. I have my own website too, just ashleybennington.com, that links to everything. But you can also find me by the Blazer. BUY, like you're buying something at a store, by the Blazer on Instagram, on TikTok, and same with her 7-figure story. So find me on social, send me a message, let me know that you watched the video and what you learned, and would love to connect with you.
Perfect. I'm going to put it in the show notes, so it'll be easy for everyone to click on your links to find you. And then the last thing I almost forgot, but it always makes this episode so fun. And I didn't even prepare you, but it's more fun this way. So can you tell me, can you tell my audience I'll give you 2 choices. One thing that's maybe like crazy about you that like, yeah, it's just kind of like something quirky, or something that like people just would never expect to know about you.
Oh my gosh.
Something.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me think.
Yeah,
something
bring you off.
I usually use something funny like, I own 210 pairs of shoes, but if you follow me on social media, that's like not surprising about me. I think something that people would be surprised to know about me is I'm actually very calm and chill in comparison to how I used to be. Oh my gosh, the dog. I love it. I also don't like dogs. That's a fun fact. But I think like the thing that I don't think a lot of people know about me, because when they find me, they're like high energy, crazy, is this is me in the most chill form of my life. Being a business owner has relaxed me and calmed me and just made me so zen. And most people think I am a psychopath. So no, I'm not. I'm actually just a really, I used to be really crazy. Used to be like, go, go, go all the time. And I rest more. I take naps. I vacation. I chill. There is that side. I just don't show it very often. I need to do a better job of that. So I don't know if that's like a good answer, but people tend to think that I don't sleep, don't rest, don't function. I do. I actually am like in the most chill, I nap more than ever era of my life, and it's fantastic. So I'll try to show more of that on social media, I think.
Well, I love hearing that, especially when you just have the 100K month. There's like that side.
Yeah, like I rest all the time. I'm so chill. I just took 3 vacations. It's amazing. So balance is so important. It allows you to go crazy, but also find your inner peace.
My dog Layla, if you guys heard, Ashley was like, oh, the dog. Layla was looking out the front window and a neighbor just parked their car out front. So she's like guarding the house. So I was like, I'm gonna go grab her. And now if you want, this is gonna actually be on YouTube. So if anyone's watching the video, they'll see me like literally manhandling my dog, like rubbing her face to try to keep her from barking and growling and all the things. So yeah, it's a little crazy on this.
I never had a dog to bring on a show. I don't have any pets. I've never had a pet, and so I'm always like, oh, what do I cuddle? I just cuddle myself.
Is there a pet in the future? I know you're so busy though, but no
pet. I don't like to unbother. The reason I can have the chill era of my life is because like when I'm done with work, I look around, I'm like, no one's licking me, no one's bothering me, no one's asking me for dinner. I'm gonna go take a nap. Like I love the like go in my zone, and I love the chill. Yeah. I need both.
Yeah. Well, never say never. But you're an auntie now, so that's exciting.
I am an auntie.
Your best friend had a baby. Yeah.
And I'll see her in about an hour. So, but I hand her back. That's the thing. I love little Nora. Nora, if you're listening to this, Auntie Ashley loves you more than anything in the world. But I love handing you back to your mom. Like I love that part of it.
Well, thank you for being on the episode of Successful CEO Podcast. It was amazing to have you. And there's so many golden nuggets that came out of this interview together. So guys, go check out Ashley. She's amazing. I know you guys are all going to want to work with her now. So check out the links. And thank you again, Ashley. Bye, everyone.